Well, good afternoon, Brother Stacy. Another time for Let the Truth Be Told, and we're coming to you, and we're hope we've been informative to you on the last few shows, and I'm going to turn it over to Brother Stacy and let you know what the topic for today is going to be.
Well, hello, Champaign-Urbana. Thank you, Brother Williams. Thank you, Lori, our video technician, and supporter in general. We're going to talk about 212 degrees today. Brother Williams and I, we were kind of thinking about during the midst of a real busy week, what the topic would be, and we decided on upon much discussion and deliverance, 212 degrees, the extra degree. And 212 degrees is, of course, the point at which hot water turns into steam, and steam, as we all know, fuels and generates enough power to move a locomotive, which is tons of pounds. So not only the ordinary 211, but the extra degree, which is the 212, which really equals that the small things equal real tremendous things and exponential rewards in life. What we want to relate that to right away here is, Brother Williams' experiences with leadership and going into the military and actually cooking for 3,000 soldiers in a mess hall, and they're all hungry, and we kind of talked one day in the back of the funeral home about what made you be able to feed that many people in that short amount of time, and we boiled that down to boiling hot. So let me turn that back over to Brother Williams and let him kind of go into that for us today. Thanks.
Well, Stacey, what I think is the test question for the military will be that what is the temperature of boiling where water can boil, right. And it's 212 is the answer. Sure. So I mean, at 212, just saying 212 degrees and boiling, we're coming off a hot week, a very hot.
100 degrees, 5 days. So.
A very hot, and so it was almost boiling hot outside.
Sure.
115 degrees, and just feel like you stuck your head into an oven. But nevertheless, we still had to keep it moving. Still had to do some things. Still had to move around outside, trying to hurry and get up and get into Macy as soon as possible.
Right.
But just looking into that topic, of boiling hot and 212 degrees. You talked about I fed over 3,000 soldiers.
Hungry soldiers.
Yeah, and when I was that was when I was at Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg, we had about 100 cooks.
North Carolina.
Yeah, we had about 100 cooks in our mess hall, and we fed probably about 3,000 people, hungry, Special Forces, airborne soldiers. Big
much
shouts
love
out
to the armed forces.
Yeah, big shouts out to the military and the armed forces and all those guys in the military and those women that's in the military that's standing up for something. Right. Standing up for something. And my mom always used to say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So yeah, but and then thinking about people and thinking about today is Sunday and it's church, and going to church this morning, and thinking about that, thinking about church this morning, I thought about, the 212 and that, and a lot of people, they're coming and trying to look for some hope this morning.
Sure.
And their lives are boiling. We had listened to a song. I heard a guy playing a song earlier, and he was riding down the street. He was bumping the ghetto, and the song was saying, "People are dying, children are crying," and that's so serious. When I was listening to the guy's song at the light, people are dying, people are crying, and people are kind of messed up,
all around
us, man. And so when I look at church this morning, and I look at, I love Pastor Johnson and Pastor Johnson, McKee Johnson, and the Jericho Missionary Baptist Church family and the growth of them as I see my sister's church grow. But I listened to his message this morning, and his message was, be careful about the company that you keep. And there's so many times we can't shake the company that we keep. And sometimes relationships will get you to boiling. Where you should have been that jumped out of it, but now you got into a 212-degree boiling point relationship.
Right.
You started out real cold and things were going real smooth, but then sometimes your relationship, not just man and woman, It could be, you know, a man and a man with a brotherhood relationship.
Business
You know, a
relationship.
business relationship, a friendship.
Parent.
You know,
Parent,
I mean, we've seen a lot of that happen.
Sure.
We've seen a lot of that happen, especially in the funeral home business, where we see families, you know, where they're going into it with each other, or folks wanting to, you know, bite each other's head off about some last possessions.
Right. That don't mean anything anyway.
Don't mean anything anyway. Not when it comes down to a friendship or a loved one.
In a relationship.
In a relationship.
A loving relationship. And with that being said, here with Let the Truth Be Told, 212 degrees, the extra degree, we always want to inform because we feel like information equals a positive impact. So with that being said, let's just talk about focus and how focusing on something that you really want out of life and just always focusing on it and kind of pruning those diversions can kind of help you get where you want to be.
You know, in anything you do in life, you should write down a plan. You know, some type of purpose, so you don't get to that boiling point.
Right.
You don't get frustrated. You know, the suicide rate that jumped up real high, and then it jumped up real high with teens. You know, the suicide rate is just alarming high, and that's because people get to the boiling point. You know, I mean, the suicide rate just with adults, you know, getting fed up with life, is just getting to that point. And you know, you can't let the devil beat you down like that.
Right.
Because once you don't have that godly force field around you, the devil can invade and put all kinds of different bogus thoughts in your head.
What do you say about the devil? Is here to kill, steal,
and destroy. And when we're asleep, the devil's still working. And sometimes, you know, when you say the devils, people think about they thought about horns and all these
sharp teeth.
Yeah, man, TV need to stop.
I tell you, that's HBO. What was that called? True Blood.
TV
feel like
we
devil
think of
there.
Jason or something, you know. But it can be your buddy. It can be your buddy. You know, I read my Daily Bread this morning and it said, you know, be careful. You know, he said something about your home, about like the devil even getting into your home. But in that scripture it said, don't worry about it because the Lord has angels protected around you.
Yeah.
And so in saying that, I was talking yesterday when they passed the torch for me for that community thing. At the community memorial service for Dr. Benjamin Cox.
Yeah, freedom fighter.
Bernard's dad. And one of the things I said about Ben Cox, you know, and it's about like me and about like you and probably like Lord, you know, sometimes it's a lonely walk by yourself. But it's never lonely when you like David and you walk through the valleys of shadows of the valleys of death and fear no evil. You know, I mean, because everybody don't want to see you come up.
Right.
And especially sometimes it might be the people in your household, the people that's next to you. They don't want you to go no further than they going. You know, and they start seeing you sliding up and doing some different things and this, that, and other. And then it's them that put some traps out there for you.
What do you say about that? Some people want to go to the third floor. Some people want to go to the top floor.
Some people at the top floor might have 100 floors to it, you know. And they made it to the third floor, you know, just when you start to eat good, you know. And I mean, and so that's just the nature of people. But don't get so upset with people. Don't get so upset with people, you know. We was doing some things, and my buddies down at the North End Breakfast Club, and they passed a few emails around, and some of the guys are so frustrated about Kiwan, still frustrated, still hurt about Kiwan. But it's millions of Kiwans out there. Kiwan there with the funeral home business. When you make it to the basement, it's over. It's no more apologies. It's no more saying I'm sorry. It's no more telling your mom I love you.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
It's no more of that. You know, only thing that people can talk about now is the dash.
Right.
You know, so I mean, you know, and it's saying that about the guys at the North End Breakfast Club and that type of thing. We got so many things to be happy about, right. and successes that came about it. That very intelligent group of young and older black men that break bread together every other Saturday morning.
6 o'clock in the morning, Don Moyer Boys and Girls Club on Park Street.
Well, you know that location's over with.
Oh, is that over? Okay.
We had to move. but I thank the Lord for those guys and like Dr. Benjamin Cox standing for something.
Right.
Standing up for something. But in saying that about Kiwan and going back to the Kiwan incident, you have to learn how to forgive people.
Yes.
You know, we talk about all this godliness that we have in us, but sometimes we don't have as much godliness in us as we think because our actions don't say that. Your audio don't match your video.
Right.
When you can't allow to forgive people, you got to do what God say do, and that's forgive people. And I know it's not done overnight. Right. Because I remember when I was at a funeral service for my buddy OD. His brother had passed away. Right. And we was over in New Life, over in the city of Danville, over in New Life.
Right. Hey, Danville, we're coming that way.
With Pastor Miller, and I think Pastor Miller said, we forgive the young man that killed OD's brother Benny. Right. And I love OD's mom to death because she keep it real even at a church service. You know, sometimes we be in church and we just going on with what somebody's saying and we don't know what they're saying, and then we might know they lying and still don't say nothing. Oh, she didn't do that. It was during a funeral service and he was hiding to his message. He said, we forgive the brothers that did this to Brother Benny. And she said, no I don't. You said the wrong thing then. Right. You know, because she still heard about her son. Right. And I felt it all the way.
And she can't rush that.
It takes time to heal. You know, and that was too soon for her at that point in time. She didn't see that. But at the same time, right is right and wrong is wrong. And at some point you have to let that go.
And you know, dovetailing off on that, Brother Williams, and kind of the more positive bent on that, you kind of took the other road, but there's always a fork in the road. Let's talk about the positivity that can come from 212 and like you would say with the North End Breakfast Club, just practicing acts of love and kindness and how that can actually make you feel inspirational just by being kind to others. Let's kind of talk about the kindred nature of breaking bread in the morning and actually giving a compliment or a one-up, as we call it, as opposed to, you know, something on the negative side.
You know what, Stace? What happens? Change comes when you're tired of being tired. Yeah. When you're sick and tired of looking at your sick and tired of yourself, right, and your sick and tired situation, then you start to change. You start cutting off people. You start doing what Pastor Johnson said. You start dropping people. You start shutting the door on things that's wrong in your life. You start shutting the door on people that don't mean you no good in your life. And that's when change comes. So at that boiling point of 212 in your life, you start getting tired of, you ought to get tired of being incarcerated. Yeah. You know, repeated offender. What's a repeat offender?
That's 4 syllables, recidivism, 5 syllables. That's what we call a repeat offender in the legal system.
You know, I mean, my mama used to say, don't step out of some mess and then step back in it. You know, she would say that to my sister about relationships and all kind of stuff. You know, once you through with a man, you're through with it.
And then tip back in.
Then you tip back in. Now the next thing you know, you over here talking about the guy, and now you back holding his hand. That's why I don't get in nobody business. I don't break up no fights between couples or none of that. Right. Because they're being both jumped on you. So stay out of folks' business. But you know, being tired, being at 212 in life and not getting a proper education or not learning the things that you need to know to be better, because it takes information. If you don't know no information, if you don't know better, you can't do better.
Right. To be aware. Yeah. To be aware.
To be aware is to be alive.
Yes, sir.
So if you don't know no better, and always ask for information to make you better. You know, and when you know that information, you can do a lot better. You know about how to fill out your tax form. Now you know how about going about your taxes. You start learning more about, you know, the funeral home business, the barbershop business, you know, truck driving, whatever you're into, you should know something. You know, a lot of times some guys come to me and say, man, I cut hair. Right. And I'll be like, did you go to school? And they'd be like, nah, I didn't go to school. Well, do I need to go to school? Well, you know, almost anything you do nowadays, you need some type of certificate.
Anything. To get a GED.
You got to go to somebody's school for something. You know, I mean, if you're a brick mason, you got to go to some type of apprenticeship program.
Oh, that local 801.
That's right. You know, and so big shots to those guys. I know some brick masons.
Hey, and they're taking care of downtown, aren't they?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
going to be beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Get that done.
You know, and I just think that it's hope. You know, it's hope out there. People need to know that it is hope out there.
But how about kindness? You know, let's not leave that out. Don't be so much in a hurry that you can't open a door for somebody or pick something up if somebody drops something, and how hope can come from helping others.
You know what?
How expensive is that?
I took a young man and you guys might have known when I talked about Mid-Cedric on the last program, Miss Dorothy. Mm-hmm. And one of the young men that was in the job program, you know, he told me, he said, man, he was opening the door for Miss Dorothy in the limo, you know, just really showing great acts of kindness.
Right, and that's inspirational.
And this is a young man, you know, that's going through a lot of different issues, you know, but that day to be able to just do something for somebody, it made him overjoyed. Right. And he said, Sean, I could do this every day. I could be with you every day. And you know, and man, I'm gonna need me a suit. I told him, I said, you do good. You stay in school. You get those grades up. You know, get your attendance back up. I'm gonna get you a suit.
But that inspired him by helping others and being kind of having that reward just by that gleam in another person's face, don't you think?
It should make you feel overjoyed when you're able to do something for somebody, make somebody else happy, make somebody proud. It ought to make you feel good. I felt so great yesterday, and when Pastor Shelby and Pastor Tatum and Pastor Nash and Holmes and Elder Perry and it was so many different pastors there, you know, Pastor Williams and, you know, so many different pastors that were there. And it was like the endorsement of me and passing the torch for the next generation.
Future.
You know, and I felt good about myself, about, you know, so many different big bags of sin you can grab onto, vices that you can grab onto. That's out here, especially me being young, and you being young, and Lori being young. I mean, there's so many different things that's available to us.
Everything looks good.
You know, and that's when, and so a lot of times, you know, the devil put it. See, even with me, the devil put it in the way that you like it. It's have it your way. He wouldn't come to you with anything that you didn't like.
Right.
He'll come to you with things that you like. So you got to be willing to take that choice, that fork in the road that you just say, and say, oh no, that ain't for me.
Keep it straight and narrow.
And see, and I'm not gonna push God on you, but I think that you should have some godly principles in you, and that way it make you draw a line. Certain things you will and you won't do. And when people know you got some Christ in you, it's certain things people won't even do around you.
Right.
Because they're going to be like, oh no, he ain't with that. Oh no, she ain't with that. And it's certain people that know when they go around elderly people, it's certain things you just don't say. But these young folks nowadays just have lost it. Because they get to cussing and I sit outside with my mom and I sit outside with Miss Owens and we sit back sometimes and we was over there yesterday just chilling with my mom. And sometimes, and sometimes young people, Mother Brooks, she came through yesterday, and sometimes young people walk by and they see these women are 70 plus.
And work their whole life.
Work their whole
from picking cotton at 7 to retire from out of school.
And exactly, I mean, they talked about it yesterday from being in Arkansas and chopping cotton and things of that nature. And you know, it's almost like Dr. Cox too, you know. I mean, young people, what is wrong with you? You don't respect people that's been through some type of civil rights movement to even make life where you can even do the things that you even do.
Even read a book.
God, man, I mean, and it saddens me, and it makes me so upset when we don't take the opportunity that's right in front of you.
And dovetailing on that, opportunities, and to capture opportunities or seize opportunities, you must be aware. So let's talk about awareness and how it's not what the commercial says, but it's the research. Let's talk about awareness. To be aware is to be alive with young people and to know that the wages of sin is death. That's very final and ultimate.
You know what, Stacey?
It's not funny, is it?
It ain't funny. It's called being hoodwinked. Sometimes you're at a boiling point and you don't even know it. It's like you're at the brink of a heart attack and you don't know it. You know, you feel a little funny, but you don't even want to go get checked out. You don't even want to get checked out. You know, because you know you're all messed up. It's like when the guy said, "Oh, I know I'm all messed up." You know you're all messed up, but don't even want to do nothing about it. See, some of our young folks, they ain't stupid. They know they messed up, but it's almost insanity. Doing the same old thing, expecting a different result.
Right.
You can't do the same thing and expect right to come out of wrong.
Right.
But then you got to know what's right. Because nowadays, life will have you so confused. Well, wrong look like right, right look like wrong. The TV pushing everything but loose to you.
Yeah.
You know, Lil Wayne's and all these different actresses and all these different singers and everybody trying to be a Paris Hilton and a Jay-Z and Papa Bottle and
Kim Kardashian,
all that type of stuff. You know, you be your own role model. Set your own examples.
That's
Come on with your own style.
So you're saying be a leader, and I know with you having spent more than 6 years in the military and being a honorably discharged from the United States Army, just as far as being a leader, let's talk with the young people, adults, parents, about just leadership, just starting in your own home as far as pull those pants up.
Man, you know how much better our community be if the leaders of the household took charge of just their household,
right,
and then show kindness, love to your next door neighbor, and then that neighbor touch another neighbor,
right,
and then that neighbor touch across the street to the next neighbor, and now we're watching a village. We're minding our own village.
Yeah.
That means we're minding our own community.
Minding our own diamond acre.
And so now that means we're minding our own city.
Sure.
So now the city can feel good about giving us some money to help us build.
They see where it's going and that it's improving.
Ain't nobody invested into nothing that ain't nothing.
No.
Ain't nothing from nothing can lead to nothing. And I ain't trying to throw myself to nothing.
Right.
And if your life is full of nothing, come on.
What can you expect?
What can you? Because the leader messed up.
Right.
The head of the house messed up. They set a bad example. You know, let your daughter come outside looking like like she going on the corner of Market and Bradley.
Right.
You know, everything showing. Man, we got to do better about ourselves and our kids. And if the kids aren't told any better, they won't do any better because we're condoning everything. If we get to the point now, and it's almost, you better not talk about it because it's almost taboo now. But we get to the point now where people trying to go with no gender.
What do we call that? Transgender?
They don't want that.
Yeah, that's transgender.
I was just dealing with my sister-in-law. No, my sister-in-law is my nephew's wife. And she was explaining to me her 9-year-old son is going through it within the school. And the parent is sending a young lady to school, but she dressed like a young guy. And they want everybody to call her a guy. Can you imagine trying to explain this to an 8 or 9-year-old kid?
It's confusing.
You're confusing the next generations. I mean, do what you want to do with your life, but don't destroy other people's lives.
Right.
What you do is your business. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it.
Right.
Now have at it. If you want to grab any sin that's out there, you have at it. But don't destroy nobody else's life to commit your sin. That's almost like a buddy throwing something under your seat and ain't told you nothing. Police pull you over, he don't know whose it is.
Right.
Come on, man.
I got that.
And they ain't finna speak up. Now that's another reason why. Be careful of the company that you keep.
That's what Pastor Lakevi Johnson said.
Be careful of that.
And we talk about it at the funeral home and at the whip. If you want to be an eagle, you soar with the eagles. You're with the eagles. I mean, if you want to be a dove, you stick with the dove. So
yeah, and I agree. I will agree to that to a certain point, because sometimes you got to grab onto an energy that's better than yours.
Yeah.
I might not be as well, and a lot of days you have more bad days than you have great days. I always pray on a great day, but not that it don't always come to me as a great day. But even in my midst of my turmoil days, my rough days, I still say thank you, Jesus.
And I love you for that.
Because the sun's gonna come out at the end of your rough place.
Yeah, you can just see through.
But a lot of times we don't like the pain.
No.
We just want the success. Give me the money. Well, what about the work?
Yeah.
What about the work? You got to be willing to put the work in. You got to, it's the blood, sweat, and tears. But see, in that company piece, with company and the people that surround you, see, a lot of times, and I got guys I know like this, it's a love and hate relationship for me. They love me, but as soon as I leave about the house, they start hating on me.
And that's a thin line.
But don't be mad at me.
No.
Don't be mad at me because you don't have that energy, that drive, that tenacity, that faith-based initiative walk that I'll take for myself. The government ain't got to give me a faith base.
No.
I'll get it for myself.
They can't tax that.
You know, I'll get it for myself. And that's what we need. You got to get it for yourself. Don't look for a handout. Look for a hand up. It used to be a song Mr. Percy said that said that. They need to come back out with it in a 2011 version. Because so many people around here begging and don't need it. And then when the people that need it get the begging, we can't give it.
Can't get it.
Because so many other people that suck the resources up.
Right.
You know, always trying to slip and fall. Always waiting on a lawsuit. You know, always want something to happen and get something for nothing.
A windfall. We call that a windfall, and as we both know, being lifelong entrepreneurs and corporate throwouts, you know, it doesn't come like that. I've been in advertising, and you've owned your own businesses and depended on advertisers, and there's so much money that goes into that miseducation of, if you do it this way, you can get it real easy. But what happens is the research indicates that people spend more effort on doing it the wrong way and expecting that tremendous exponential reward, when if you had used that same effort and energy into doing it the right way, how you could have already succeeded in your life. Let's just talk about that in TV and that sort of thing.
And you know what?
And how to eliminate that diversion.
And what happens is that we like doing wrong because wrong sounds fun.
And it feels good.
It feels good. It's great to do
got
wrong.
one.
You know, but one thing about it, you know, I'm listening to Bishop before, and Bishop say, you know, sometimes he'll see somebody in the store and they don't want to speak to him, you know, and they might hide down another aisle, you know, because they looking at him like he God.
No, like I
you know what I'm saying? And they don't, you know, he said, keep it real. You know, keep it real. If you had a drink or something of this, that, still speak to me, show me some love. Don't get funny acting on me. You know? And you know, so many times, you know, people phony. They phony.
You didn't say that, did you?
Man, a lot of times people be phony.
Did you just say that?
People be phony. I'm keeping it 100 with you.
Okay.
And I'm keeping it 100 with the audience. I think you can commend me for keeping it. And relate to me, because I just keep it real. I'm just a regular guy.
Right.
I'm just a regular guy from small Champaign, Urbana, trying to do my thing and come from, you know, modest background, you know. And but I think that, you know, just keep it real with people. And they'll take it, you know, for what you're worth, you know, but don't sell the dream, you know. And then at the same time, we're going back to that hide in the store on this show. Man, if God see what you do, what difference does it make about some other man or some other woman? The Lord watching.
Right.
So what I would say, do, even in your wrong, bring yourself out of your wrong. While you doing that wrong, while you still smoking that pipe, or while you still in that different relationship, or you doing what you're doing, or you doing something that you know you ain't got no business, ask the Lord to help you through it and get you through it and take it away from you. You know, so that now you can turn that negative to a positive. Because I mean, sometimes you got to pray your way out through something, man. You know, and I've been to that point. Don't wait until something bad can happen. And now you end up in the slammer, you're saying, Lord Jesus, please, Lord.
One more chance. One more time. I'll do it like the next time.
Know, if you get me out of this, and I've heard those stories.
Oh, I've done those stories.
And I probably did it myself. Lord, if you please get me out of this.
Time.
And you don't let this happen to me off this. I swear to God, I won't do it anymore. And I've said that myself, and that's that 212.
Yes, sir.
That's that boiling point.
That extra degree.
That's that boiling point. That's when change coming on.
It is small, and you know, small incremental differences make the biggest difference in everyone's lives, and that's such a metaphor, and we can wrap that up right now and take that. You know, the smallest differences make the biggest amount of change. And as just an example, the last 25 Masters major tournaments, you know, for PGA golfers and lovers, they've been the margin of victory's been one stroke. Here you play 72 holes, you hit the ball 280 times, and the average margin of victory, which is champion in second place is one stroke. So that's major.
Right.
And that's life.